Board to the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum's Missionary Roots Local. My name is Jack, and I will be your tour guide for our journey back in time here today. Also on your train here today is your conductor, Andrew, and your engineer, Andrew. They are not the same person, by the way.
I started recording right at the
Now, our
right
trip back
time.
in time here today is going to be around 55 to 60 minutes. We'll spend about 15 of those minutes traveling to East Chattanooga and return on our 3 miles of trackage. And at East Chattanooga, we'll spend a 25-minute layover. And during this layover, we'll have a demonstration of our turntable, as well as a brief back shop tour. Now, I'm sure as you notice, we're technically going in the wrong direction right now. Now, in order for us to get to East Chattanooga here today, we need to be heading westbound. And right now, we're headed eastbound onto Norfolk Southern Trackage. And because they're not going to allow us on there today, we're going to go somewhere else. So folks, in just a minute, we're going to begin turning around on what is called the Y, spelled W-Y-E. In just a second, we're going to be stopping, and then we're going to be reversing backwards around the Y. At the back of your train here today is your conductor, Andrew, and Andrew is back there to perform a maneuver we call protecting the shove. And whilst Andrew is protecting the shove during our climb backwards around the Y, he is essentially serving as our engineer Andrew's eyes for the moment. Because as we're going around backwards, engineer Andrew is at the back, and conductor Andrew is at the front of our train. So conductor Andrew will essentially act as our engineer's eyes and communicate to him via the radio, basically letting him know how much more space we have left. So at this time, we are now beginning our climb backwards around the Y. As we begin our turnaround on the Y here today, there are a couple of directions you need to follow. Because where you're sitting here today, your left and right may not be the same as our train's left or our train's right. So that being said, folks, we have 2 directions, which are train left and train right. So first off is train left, or the left of our train. And this is going to be our display yard. If you see all those coaches and cars in the yard, that is your display yard, and that will be to the left of our train, train left. And then train right, or the right of the train, just has a bunch of trees and rocks and grass at the moment. But in just a few minutes, you'll be seeing Grand Junction Station as you pass by on our way to our destination. So once again, train left is your display yard. Train right will soon be Grand Junction Station.
Forgot to unzoom.
That's what distracted.
Oh. Man, I can't catch it on the camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Y has now been cleared, and we are now headed westbound to our destination of East Chattanooga. Now on our way there here today, you'll be seeing more than just trees, grass, and more trees. As on our journey today, you'll see several different sites and landmarks which represent the past and present of our area's history. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in to the first landmark you'll see on our trip today, which is going to be a gravel road. This gravel road will be to the left of our train, just past our display yard and down below our rail line. This gravel road serves a very important purpose because it is the roadbed to this very line. Because when our line today was built back in 1859, it was built at a much lower elevation than to what it currently sits at here today. So what that means is that that gravel road is where our line today was originally built on back in 1859. You are probably wondering as to why we're now up here and no longer down there, if that was the case. And you see, folks, there is a simple explanation as to why. And that reason is due to flooding. Because before the construction of the Chickamauga Dam, during the days of the Great Depression, Chattanooga was very prone to flooding. You're now seeing that gravel road path to the left of our train. That's our original roadbed to our line here today. At the very end of our path, you are going to be seeing a sign.
I just
And
missed
next
down
to
the
that
camera.
sign, there is a tree. And on this tree, there is painted a yellow line. This yellow line represents the high water mark of the Great Flood of 1867, which, folks, is at 9 feet above the ground. And so, since last I checked, trains do not swim, there's a reason as to why we're now up here and no longer down there.
Yard limit.
But speaking of water in the more peaceful sense, we're just about to cross over bridge number 1, which is over South Chickamauga Creek. In the creek below, you may spot creatures such as turtles, river otters, geese, or maybe even some muddy water.
Wow, I thought water was just a myth.
As we make our cross over the creek, I'm sure you notice there are some tracks off in the distance from where our line is here today. And those tracks you see in the distance belong to the Western and Atlantic Railway, the W&A for short. The Western and Atlantic was the first rail line into the city of Chattanooga and was built in the year 1850 by the state of Georgia.
See if we can find that.
The tracks below us run today
Hey,
from
wait,
Chattanooga
that's
to the
abandoned
Georgia
railway
capital of
tracks.
Atlanta.
There's a bunch of
And
ties.
are currently leased out to the CSX Corporation, who run on those tracks today.
And see,
in fact,
also
that's their
have-
train to our right.
I'm seeing a bunch of ties, so that must be the old abandoned railway. Or at least line.
Or they just replaced the ties recently.
Now, folks, to the right of our train is also going to be another place, and this place is called Allied Metals.
Oh god, this is cool.
Allied Metals is one of our local freight customers here in Chattanooga, as we do service freight, not just passenger. So as you cruise past Allied Metals, I'll go ahead and talk to you about the cars you're in here today. Folks, if you're in car number 1, the car which I'm speaking out of, you're in the 906, built in
CSX!
1924 by
Wait,
the
no way.
Pullman Company
No freaking
for
way.
the Central Georgia Railway.
Oh man, I can't catch it.
If you're in car number 2,
Oh, hey,
the
nice.
car in the middle, you're in number 1480.
If you guys didn't catch it,
nicknamed the
there was
Virginia
a
Polytechnic
heritage
Institute,
sticker on it.
built in
Wasn't the chassis system
1949
one,
by
but
the Budd
it was a
Company
heritage
for the
sticker.
Norfolk and Western Railway.
Pretty sure it was like for the Maryland Railway or
And lastly,
something.
if you're in car 3, the very last car of our train, you're in car number 390, built in 1947 by the American Car and
Dude, I-
Foundry for the Central Georgia Railway.
Man, I am amazed that I just saw that. That thing is so rare.
80 years old.
Yeah. Probably built in the 50s.
47.
Now,
I
once
got
we
it
pass
right.
by Allied metals, we are then headed on to bridge number 3.
Yo, hey,
which
it's a
is going
Hi-Ho
to be over the
GP7.
road Tunnel
Hi-Ho GP7.
Boulevard. Now, originally, the road you are going to soon see below us would have had a massive tunnel above it, hence the flattering reason of the road's name, Tunnel Boulevard, because there was, in fact, a tunnel above it. Now, when this line was abandoned in the 1950s by the Southern Railway, and why exactly they did that, I'll explain a bit later, they would open the roof of that tunnel, and that was done to avoid paying maintenance costs. And then eventually, when this land was given to us, what we did was we would build a bridge, and that bridge would then completely remove the tunnel altogether. And so the bridge now stands in the gap where the tunnel once stood. So today, folks, we have a tunnel boulevard without the tunnel. But never to fear, folks, because we here today are going to be traveling through a tunnel, one that is still intact. Now this tunnel is what's called the Missionary Ridge Tunnel, also known as the Whiteside Tunnel, after Colonel James Anderson Whiteside. Now this tunnel was built in 1858 and was finished the following year, after about 3 years of hard work. Now this tunnel was entirely man-made. There were no machines involved, it was entirely hand-dug from start to finish. It is approximately 986 feet in length, and will be excavated by the use of picks and shovels, as dynamite had not been invented yet until the year 1867. So I guess you could say that construction of the tunnel went off without a bang. Now, unfortunately, this tunnel was the reason why our line today was abandoned in the first place. And this happened for 2 reasons. Now, the first reason was due to the equipment. Because as railway equipment became much more modern, it also became much more larger, and therefore could no longer fit. And the second reason was that at the time, the tunnel was single track, while the rest of this line was initially constructed as a double track main line. And so, what that resulted in were traffic jams at either end of the tunnel for traffic going in or out. The horn has now sounded, and that means folks we are approaching Whiteside Tunnel. For your safety, make sure to keep your arms, hands, feet, and legs inside our train at all times. Now folks, if you have a phone or a flashlight on you here today, I do encourage you to have those out at this time. Because what you can do here today, folks, is you can take your phones and put them up to your car windows. So that way you can shine a light onto the tunnel walls to see within and to see just how close we are to the tunnel. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are ready for 986 feet of pure man-made tunnel, because I know I sure am. This, folks, is a time I like to call tunnel time in Tennessee. Once again, folks, this is tunnel time in Tennessee.
See the tunnel. Yeah, just barely. Alright, we're going in now.
Hold it up against the glass. Up against it. All the way down.
So dark. I feel like it's a midnight ride. didn't want to be a train at midnight like this.
So, binding in.
And just like that, we have now cleared Whiteside Tunnel and are on the west side of Missionary Ridge. Now we are here today in an area that was once known as Sherman Heights. But because we are here today in Sherman Heights, it does also mean our destination of East Chattanooga is approaching. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to have the demonstration of our turntable as well as a back shop tour, to which I do encourage you all to come off of our train and view these experiences, because we here are one of only a few places left in this entire world where you're about to see what will take place. So that being said, you are given the option on staying on board our train. However, if you do stay on board, you will be missing out. Now folks, do keep in mind that East Chattanooga is an active rail yard. So for your safety here today, do be on the lookout for any moving cars or locomotives at all times. We do also have some rules in place that we ask you to follow whilst off our train here today as well. Our first rule is to please stay with your group at all times, as this is a guided tour, so please do not wander off. Our second rule is to please stay on the concrete pathway, so please do not wander onto any tracks, gravel, or ballast. Our third rule is to please do not climb onto any equipment around our property, as did you know that climbing on equipment is considered a fire hazard. And also folks, if you were to climb on a piece of equipment and then you proceed to fall off of it, I would laugh and therefore get myself fired. And then finally we have rule number 4, which is to of course have fun. But once again folks, stay with your group at all times, stay on the concrete pathway, and do not climb onto any equipment here today, please and thank you. Speaking of perfect timing, we are now arriving at East Chattanooga. Now folks, you're going to be heading to our turntable for the first part of our tour today. So when you get off our train at our ramp on the East Chattanooga Depot, you'll be taking a left and then heading straight on down. Once again, when you get off our train, turntable will be to your left and then head straight on down. We will also have our depot open as well for restrooms and snacks. Once again, welcome to East Chattanooga. We'll be stopping momentarily.
Bro, Amtrak. Why is there just an Amtrak coach?
I'm pretty sure that's the 4-hour train ride in the diner.
Chesapeake in Ohio, baby. Remember being no chassis system phone.
We need to find one where we can ride one of those, because I want to sit in the dome. Go farther down.
No freaking way. That is an F7. That is an F7. Jesus.
I want to go see a turntable.
Look at the baby locomotive.
It's stuck.
That's like actually kind of funny. I've like heard of these engines. I've never actually seen one.
Watch out.
I don't feel like watching.
Once again, folks. Here we go. Now we're here today at our level number 80, around approximately 180 degrees. It is what we've done because of all the reasons. And that reason was because of how small the is right here. Hey, it's about we're going to use our turntable. Now, this here turntable was built in 1916 by the American Bridge and Iron Company for the Central of Georgia Railway. This turntable measures in at about 80 feet in length and weighs in at just about 80 tons. Our table is called a motor-powered turntable, as it is equipped with an electric motor, which means that for us to turn our locomotive around today, it's going to be pretty easy. But back in 1916, there were no such things as motor-powered turntables. When this turntable was built brand new back then, it was powered by a different source, and this source was by hand. Back in the day, folks, it took four people to push this entire turntable around by themselves and with a locomotive on it. So you can imagine it was quite heavy. Nowadays, though, it takes just one man and his finger. Literally. Now, folks, I want you all to be my helpers and be my good friend Andrew's emotional and moral support. Now, can we all say hi, Andrew?
No. Hi.
Can we all say thank you, Andrew?
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, let's go ahead and begin our actual demonstration as you can see our turntable spin around. As we do that, I'll talk about your locomotive here today. Your locomotive here today, folks, is Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Railway number 80, or Tag 80 as she's nicknamed. Number 80 was built in 1968 by the Electromotive Division, or EMD for short, for the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Railway, that commonly referred to as the tag or the tag route. Number 80 is classified as an EMD GP38 just EMD GP38. The name standing for General Purpose. and she can draw up to about 1,200 horsepower.
Isn't it a high hood?
Now, the number 80 has a nickname. The locomotive is nicknamed the John A. Chambliss, which is this name you see right here. Now, Mr. John A. Chambliss was a former president of the Tag Railway, and this very locomotive was a bit of a funny story dedicated to him on his 80th birthday. Hence the reason why this locomotive is numbered 80, because an actual man turned 80 years old. Number 80 would serve the Tag, later the Southern Railway, and later Norfolk Southern, until it was retired from active service in 2001. Following its retirement, it was sold to the Chambliss family at an auction, after which the Chambliss family gave the locomotive right to us at the museum. In 2015, about 14 years after it arrived, restoration began to restore number 80 to operational condition and back to its original Tag glory. It took about 2 years, which is not that long when you think about it, but it took a lot of money and a lot of work. But within those 2 years, number 80 was returned back to her original Tag appearance. So our locomotive here today, folks, is historical actually. Now, I'm going to get into what's called track number 1. What we're going to do here today is we're going to take our turntable and move it to track number 2. And track number 2 is the track you see right next to track number 1, very conveniently. So Andrew here today, folks, is going to take our turntable and line it up to track number 2, so that the number 80 can roll over our turntable, and then we couple back to our train on track number 1. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for our crew today, especially Andrew and Andrew. Now, folks, at this time, we're going to have our shop tour at the back shops right across the way. That being said, if you do not wish to visit our back shops, you are more than welcome to head back to our train or depot at this time. But once again, folks, if you would like to see our back shops and our shop tour, and maybe a steam locomotive, I do encourage you to please follow me right this way. Once again, folks, we will have our...
Okay, after. I'll put it there.
Yo, man, that engine right there's a Norfolk Southern Heritage Unit, F7.
Southern Crescent.
Southern Railway F7 Heritage Unit. Runs for Norfolk Southern.
I should get a picture with you in front of it.
I like the steam locomotive.
What?
Like a steam engine. Yes, high hoods. Yes, yummy high hood. Oh, hey, steam locomotive, and there's an F7 over there. And why are there so many F7s here? But then there's also more steam engines than there are F7s. I don't even know what railway that is. It's all dismantled. Oh wait, no, I think that's the Rock Island. Yeah, that's a Rock Island. Baltimore, Ohio. And I'm gonna put it on YouTube.
We are now headed back to Grand Junction Station. And with
Oh, yeah,
that,
there is an
this does mean
SD
our trip is at an end. Now, folks, if you should choose to return and visit us again in the future, we do offer a selection of other trains for you to ride on as well. We have our dinner train, which runs into Polk Street in downtown Chattanooga, the dinner on the diner. We have some longer excursions down to Georgia, the Chickamauga Turn and the Somerville Steam Special, as well as some other train rides like our North Pole Limited, the Holiday Lights Train, Founders Day, Day Out with Thomas, the Copper Hill Special, the Hiawassee River Rail, Scenic Adventure, to name just a few more. If you would like to find out more info on these other trains, then you can visit our website today at www.tvrail.com. Before you go here today, though, there is still some more for you to explore at our museum. At Grand Junction Station, you have your deli and gift shop, and there is also a building called the Exhibit Building. If you wish to visit the Exhibit Building after your trip here today, then please feel free to do so, as your ticket grants you free admission into the Exhibit Building. One last reminder as well, we are going to go back to Whiteside Tunnel once more, so make sure to keep your arms, hands, feet, and legs inside our train.
Why would we have them out? We can't open the windows.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed your trip with us here today, then your tour guide was named Jack. But if you did not enjoy your trip with us here today, then your tour guide was named Gilbert. So I do hope your service here today was a Jack and not a Gilbert. On behalf of myself and the rest of our crew here today, we'd like to thank you all for riding at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. Now, it's been my pleasure talking to you here today, but I'll go ahead and wrap up at this time so you can enjoy the rest of your trip here today. So that being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your trip back to Grand Junction Station. Thank you all for riding, and have a great rest of your day.
Tunnel. Hey Dad, the tunnel. Bro, Dad, look at my phone. It's actually catching all the stuff.
gustado que subiste de
Where he goes and something, and they get some. More abandoned tracks. So our actual ties heading up. I came in like a G-Bow.
Hey, this one's
Cuando pasamos la iglesia, yo me acordaba de todo el camino de allá. La policía,
9 foot high water. That's how high it would flood. The little villager sheds.
Hey, we're here. Was that a derailer? Norfolk and Western, there's no stopping us. Where's the train coming?
Norfolk and Western different from Norfolk and Southern?
Yeah. Norfolk and Western was the old railroad. I'm pretty sure like Norfolk and Western merged with someone and made Norfolk Southern.